We are going live. And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to episode 187 of the Crystal Chronicles. This is the pre-show. So if you are watching on YouTube... No, I edit this on YouTube. Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, because it is now directly including this, or on Twitch Video On Demand, welcome. Glad you can join us. This is the pre-show. We will start in about 13 minutes, so you can skip ahead to see the intro video if you want to skip the pre-show banter and random silence. Or you can hang out for more speculation on JP terms of service. Oh. Or what we like to say, what the hell is happening in the Japanese version of the game? Everybody's favorite question, what the hell is happening in JP? Theologica! Everyone take a moment to check out Theologica Defo on the interweb. Were you first? You were not first, Theologica. You were first on the Twitch, and so thank you for being first on Twitch. But Ryan and Shadowheart and Martyr are on YouTube joining us, so you can be first on Twitch, Theologica. Everybody check out Theologica Defo on YouTube, doing good stuff, the Lord's work. And what else? I don't know. Let us know what your what do you think about this new change in the Japanese version of the game? Is that like, that's not secret? That's like announced in game, Mino?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's announced, so it's not something we can't talk about.
Okay, good. Hey, Ian. I have gotten in trouble for talking about things we're not supposed to talk about. But yeah, apparently if you're not familiar, in the Japanese version of the game, which we don't generally talk about on the podcast itself, this is a podcast. Hey, I did have a great vacation. Thank you for asking. May talk about that in the post show a little bit. Mino's going to be skedaddling, and so talk a little bit about that. But yeah, in the Japanese version of the game, it has been announced that by the end of February, sometime at the end of February, if you have over 300,000 paid gems, you will not be able to redeem more paid gems. You'll still get the free gems, but you will not get paid gems. Hey, Cross! You can, everybody, check out Cross13 on YouTube. The Historia Crux. And also, he was on the Ranting Hour last night, I believe. So, I'm behind on all my Defo stuff. So, I don't really know what... I don't really know what's been going on in the community because I've been gone. And I have caught up in the actual game, but I am not caught up on all the Defo content. So... Yeah, shout out to Yin and Jax and Jet. Yin is saying it sounds like some end of service stuff. Uh-oh. There you go. Let's start that speculation. Beatrix was, yes, there is a TCC trivia. What was the first GL time traveling weapon? Beatrix was the first GL first character, but she did not have the first time-traveling weapon. Hello, the Broadway Saiyan. Everyone check out the Broadway Saiyan on Twitch and YouTube, making various content, including streaming Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. He does not do a podcast, but sometimes he is on the Fireside Chat which is a chat next to a metaphorical or imaginary fire, along with our friends Lids87, Resfoina, and Jin Lee. Yeah, lots of Titus's in chat. Titus hype. Broadway 40. I don't know what I'm explaining. I see some emotes here. Let me look on the other thing. Cobra Kai. Oh yeah, okay. Cobra Kai Broadway singing emotes. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Mother Lover. Thank you. Yes. Tonight, Mino is going to be joining Broadway as a on the video games. King of Fighters, right? That's what we're talking. Yeah, King of Fighters. Yeah. Some new stuff. Fade into Gaming. Check out Fade into Gaming. Streaming Defo on Twitch. Explain the Garnet video that confuses you. I can't. I don't understand it. Thank you, Mother Lover, for the subscription. 13 months. What? I can't explain your Garnet video. I don't hate it. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't. I watched it. I don't understand most of it. It confuses me. So I mean that's something. I like the unexpected. I like twists and turns. I'm fairly intuitive when it comes to parsing what will be. Always thinking a few steps ahead, that kind of stuff. And so I do enjoy the unexpected, and that was unexpected. I'm not necessarily going to say I enjoyed it, but it was unexpected and confusing. Titus 13 was such a carry back in the day, Taco. It sure was. I had no tacos on my vacation. 0 tacos. I had a lot of alcohol. A lot of sugar. A lot of barbecue, oddly enough. I'm not sure how that became popular in Florida. Raided the channel last Thursday after your polls. No, well, Mino was streaming. It's okay. You can still raid. It just wasn't a podcast. What are we talking? Jovial Roger, what are we talking about? In the Japanese version of Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, it was announced that at the end of the month, if you have over 300,000 paid gems, you would be no longer able to receive more paid gems. So the cap is 300,000 paid gems. So if I go to buy a 17,000 whatever, 17,600 gem pack, and I am capped at my paid gems, I will only receive the free gems, so only 8,800 gems instead of the full 17,000. What does this mean? Why are they doing it? I don't have any idea. We are at a complete loss. And Squex did reach out to us.
What?
I said Squex did reach out to us and did not leave a comment. So how do the newspapers say it? Squex could not be reached for a comment. That's not true. They could be reached. They just did not comment. Oh, yeah. It's bewildering. But Emerald Bard, it's not really forcing you to spend though, is it? Like what? Like, so let's just assume right now that this happened today in GL. I'm not saying I have, but let's assume I have around 600,000 paid gems. And if I had 600,000 paid gems, why would I want to spend them? All that would do is make me reconsider anything that I buy. Like, I would probably buy the Moogle Pass because I like that, and it gives me a lot of interesting stuff. But I'd probably cut back on any packs, costumes. And yes, as Yin is saying, you have to spend your free gems first. Unless they change that, they could change that. But yeah, Sweetwater Dream. I mean, yeah, I mean, it could be to safeguard, but why would they do that? Or they could just put a physical money cap, right? I mean, they could just say you can only spend so much on this game. But why would you do that? Why would you, like, Mino and I were talking, like, is there some legal reasons? But it doesn't seem that way. It doesn't seem like there's anything like happening in Japan that would make sense. Oh, no, it's not 300,000 pay gems per month. Well, that would be, I don't think, yeah, I mean, I think that would be safe. I don't think that would impact anyone. Yeah, no, right. But if you're over 300,000 pay gems, then you would basically just get half of the gems from anything that you buy. So it would just feel bad, right? I mean, it wouldn't, like, it would probably make a lot of us spend less, very truthfully. Yeah, I don't. I mean, that was one of my thoughts, Sweetwater Dream, the idea that, there are some laws in the works that, but yeah, no, it's total. It's not 300 paid gems per month or anything else. I mean, it's like once you hit that cap, it's no more. Like, no more paid gems. You may only hold 300,000 paid gems. Which, again, why not just cap gems? Like, your gem cap is, 999,999. There you go. Yeah, you can check how many you have if you're concerned. I already checked. I am well aware of how many paid gems I have. It's a big number. And yeah, it's Jax. We love you and hate your money. We hate your money. Disney World does not hate your money. They were more than happy to take it. They were very, very willing wherever I wanted to spend it. Like, do you have money? Here, spend it. And I did. Oh, Mino, are you ready?
Yep.
Are you ready? Chat, YouTube, Twitch, Internet, podcast audience who is listening to this later, who will not listen to this because I haven't pressed record yet.
Oh, really? Good. Oh, wait, no, it's still on the VOD. Fuck.
Are you ready? Let's go. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome, everyone, to episode 187 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. And I say podcast because you might be listening to this very podcast on your favorite podcast apps like Apple Podcasts, the Google Play Store, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Or you might be watching us live on YouTube or Twitch, or watching later on YouTube or Twitch video on demand. Wherever you are watching, this is your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, where we bring you all your DissidiaFFOO news and talk. I'm so glad to be back after a week away. I've had a wonderful vacation, and I am still on vacation technically, but I am back in my hometown where it is cold and snowing and not warm and beautiful and Star Warsy. as it was before. But I am not alone. No, no, no. I am joined by my good friend and yours. It is Mino Spellgood, who is not on vacation. Mino, how are you doing?
I need a vacation, Mark. It's so busy. I need to take a vacation or get a new job or something, but I'm on the opposite end of Mark. I'm slowly burning out right now. Luckily, we have Monday off. It's some sort of national holiday, I think.
It is President's Day, and I saw
Oh, that's what
all the presidents in celebration of President's Day. They're all doing well. They are all robots. I didn't know that until this week, but yes, they are all robots, and they all live in the same place. Yeah. So, how's everybody joining us live? This is being recorded on February 17th, 2022. Last week we had, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, episode 186. We had a trivia from Podocedar, our TCC intern. What did Pierre bake for the first anniversary of the podcast? Our co-founder Pierre, baked a listener-submitted apple pie, and he said it was delicious. And so thank you for submitting your apple pie. He had an old joke where he'd say, and submit your apple pie recipes, and someone did. Raw Life. It's good to see you. Everybody check out the live stream, Tifa, on Twitch and YouTube. And hey, jump into the post show, Raw, and we can talk about Disney. Or whatever you want. If you and Bart want to come on the post show and talk about Disney, that would be great. This week, our trivia question, an easy one, I think, for a lot of you. I know in chat we've already had several people talk about it. What was the first GL time-traveling weapon? So stick around to the post show. You can hear the answer or listen next week for that answer. So let's get right to it. The news of the day. Not a lot of news, not a lot of updates. We've had a lot of content, which we are going to talk about tonight. But a few things to note, some new items for purchase. We have two, not one, but two new weapon glosses. One is the Magic Rod, and the Magic Rod is a magic pot on the end of a staff. And the other one is the Chocobo Sickle, which is a Chocobo lollipop, or a Chocobo ice cream thing. And wow, whew, it's starting off strong. Just went to hell. A popsicle. A Chocobo popsicle was the word that I was looking for. Thank you, Emerald Bard. And that is a dagger weapon. I did not get either of those. I don't think I probably will, because I can't buy any more gems. Oh, and all the costumes are reruns, so if you didn't get any of them before, you can pick them up now. Lots of costumes available, and that is more exciting, I think, is the second retweet campaign. Rewards came in. So we got a whole bunch of good, nifty stuff for the second retweet campaign, including some vastly important BT book and ingot mats. So very, very cool. And that's about it. Not a lot of updates. There are a couple little bug updates, but nothing much to write home about. So we have a lot of content to get through because I wasn't around last week. So let's get right to it. Annular Equinox was the last new GL exclusive event on our GL First BT or Garnet cycle. And this brought us two characters which we were expecting later this month, but they came a little bit early. And that was Vivi and Aiko. Now recall, Vivi was a GL First LD, and so he just came back with his LD boards and his C90. So if you're not familiar with Vivi, he does fire and dark damage, does damage to the party, has a follow-up. Now he has C90, he can do more damage, but that's pretty much all about Vivi. Mino, anything to add about Vivi?
Nope.
Yep. Let's go to the new character, or the new weapon, which is Aiko. If you're not familiar with Aiko, she does holy damage. She's also a great battery and healer, allowing you to do heal and brave or HP regen. She did get an EX a while ago, an EX Plus, which allowed her to do even more damage and also imperil holy. But now she gets an LD, and her LD is kind of stupid and broken. If you're bad at the game. If you're bad at the game, Aiko is your new best friend because her LD revives and heals the party. But more importantly than that, it gives a special overhead Phoenix Pinion. You're all familiar with the Phoenix Pinion, a very powerful weapon, a very powerful accessory in Final Fantasy games. And the Phoenix Pinion is a stacking overhead buff that enables a special counter. When one of your party members, who is below 50% of their health, I believe, dies or does a attack that would kill them, they will immediately be revived and healed and then batteried, and then she does an attack. And that then lowers the stacks of her pinion, which she can refresh with her LD. Which means this also grants the party last stand and enchants them with Holy, because why the hell not, and gives them all the other stuff you would want for your support. But yes, it pretty much enables you to have, I think, 9 total uses of party revive. And because the in-game thing has been changed so that you really don't need to, you can die and still make score. This really is a game changer for those who are struggling. That being said, it is also not super important because a lot of orbs are non-lethal at this point. You may not have recognized it or realized it because I haven't, because I don't generally let orbs go off. But if you haven't noticed, most of the recent orbs have been non-lethal, and that is going to continue into the immediate future where orbs will not kill you. That being said, you can still die in the game pretty consistently if you're not particularly skilled or paying attention. And so Aiko is a kind of a help button, and really I don't even want to say cheese, but really a need to get through content button. But that being said, we also have a broken GL first and a lot of other characters that can do good. So if you have a constant problem of dying, Aiko may be the character for you. If not, like me, you can probably skip her because really that's what she does. She just prevents you from dying. Yes, she does Holy Enchant, but like who cares at this point? Quite a few other people do that. She does have decent battery and decent party support, but not any better than anybody else and the many other characters. But definitely, if you are obviously the proverbial new player, you're going to get her anyway. She's going to be able to help out while you learn the game. Unfortunately, my concern is she may not help you learn the game, especially moving into the next era. Mino, what are your thoughts on Aiko?
She's just the next in a long line of help buttons. Like we've got Garnet now. There's a lot of other things. I don't know what to say. I mean, maybe for newer players, this is a great pickup. I'm sure I want to say it lets you get through the orbs. Probably. I was also going to say maybe damage is an issue, but probably not at this point with Garnet and everything. I don't know. She's a decent support.
Yeah.
I know that there is a good amount of orbs she will check for a bit because there is a Sayador's Holy Cycle coming up.
Right.
There's a good amount of holy orbs. There's some healing and regen orbs. She does things, but I I don't know what to say here. Like, people say like we flanderize just the fact that she brings you back to life, but all the discussions I've had throughout the week, like, oh, she's a really good counter tank because you don't need to die for that Phoenix attack follow-up to go off. You just need to take damage under 50% health. So, you could run like Vivi or a self-harm person like Lude, and then you eat an enemy attack and she counters and stuff. Or you could, do this and this and that. But I don't know. At that point, it's just unnecessary. At that point, I don't know, watching everyone's clears of the recent content, it really is like, you don't want to give the enemy turns in the first place. So
Right.
I really don't know what to say about Aiko. She'll check orbs, but they're not lethal anyways. I guess if you really, really don't want to pull for a long time, this is the ultimate defensive unit for a bit, right? Like until Zach.
Right.
But we'll see. I feel like everyone listening to this show already knows what Aiko does, so I can't really provide any like greater insight than that.
Well, and like you just mentioned, we are headed into an era where content's not particularly challenging, and where we're going to get quite a few, like including the next character we'll talk about, which is Locke, who has a mechanic that also prevents you from dying. And then you have Zach, and then you have Snow, who are both BT plus tanks, who have mechanics who prevent you from dying. And so here's little Aiko, like the first of many characters who prevent you from dying in an era where you don't give the boss turns or die. So, but we will make a flowchart for how to use her. You press LD, then you press skill 1, skill 2, HP attack. No, she can start with her EX. There you go. She starts with her EX. So she starts with her EX fully charged, so you can start that. No, it doesn't matter. You just press buttons and then hope you don't die 9 times. Like somebody's going. Somebody's right? Going to like. Somebody's gonna like. I brought Aiko and I still died, and you're like at some point we can't help you. Like at some point you're just so bad at the game. Like I don't know what to do for you. If you got Aiko and Garnet and you can't win, I'm in garbage time. I apologize.
Yeah, did you see all those brilliant Reddit posts? There was more than one.
I didn't see. I haven't been on Reddit in over a week. So please tell me.
At least 2 theory crafting that if you run Garnet and Aiko and any third, you'll be able to do all content until Shinryu. That's it. We just had 2 Reddit posts saying that.
No, I mean that's probably true. I don't. Of course
it's true. Like,
it'd be hard to argue. That's probably true. Yeah. Like you could probably auto plus content with Aiko and Garnet in garbage time. Unfortunately, can't do the PT cycle in auto plus. So, but yeah. So if you are not good and you die a lot, then Aiko is definitely the character for you. But let's talk about something that's let's go. Like first of all, let's not jump ahead. TonberryTroupe.com, beautiful infographic. I don't know. I don't think Elsid did this one. Who's the art from? Pixiv. Cute art. I like the art for this Aiko. I like Aiko. Big Final Fantasy IX fan, as you know. Pretty cute art there. But check out TonberryTroupe.com if you're interested in, sphere recommendations, artifact passives, all those things that are not important. You can check that out. Thanks to Tonberry Troupe, TonberryTroupe.com. If you go to our podcast polls, you can vote on what you did for this. Thanks to Quetzalma and J.A, our wonderful mod for doing this, and MateriaBot. Looking at this banner, about 8 people going to pity Garnets. This was the last Garnet banner. 14 going for Aiko with gems. 24 just using gems because I guess why not? 187 tickets and 30. That's a lot of people pulling on Aiko. I'm assuming because they needed to get Garnet's BT. But I'm also assuming a lot of people just wanted Aiko because you're not very good at the game. So, shout out Anomander, part of the Tonberry Troupe. Good people. We support their work, as always. Let's talk about the actual event, which is an Equinox event. And oh boy, Equinox was fun. This is our second Equinox event. This one was a little different, if I can get to it, which I can't seem to do right this second. And what was different? There's a normal one with the token challenge, and you could do, the co-op and everything else. But that's the co-op. Where's the big one here? Yeah, here we go. Annular Equinox. I thought this was cool because you start with the 200, go to 220, then the 250, and then back to 220 and 200, just like the Equinox. Yeah, kind of fun. But it's a lockout event, so you can only bring the same characters once. You have to complete all of it to get all of the rewards, right? And it got harder if you start in the middle. That was the big one. All of it's Lufania. All of them have Lufania orbs. Obviously, the 200s, 220s are a little bit easier, but all of them were a little bit challenging. The 250 was the most challenging, and that was these Rage Gators. Really, really selling Garnet there with the Rage Gators. But overall, I mean, a lot of fun. I won't go through all the fights because, again, I think you can go to our Discord. You can see the thread with all the fights if you really want to. You can come on help. It's an older event now. It's going to be gone in 4 days, so we don't need to spend a lot of time on it. But just general impressions. I love Equinox. I think, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit as it compares to other things, but I like the lockout events. I like, thinking about, I think the smart way to do it is to do the 250 first and then do the easier ones. But I kind of did it, the 200s and then the 220s and then the 250, and tried to kind of use some less powerful units at the 200s to try to get through. And that makes it a little bit more challenging, and then use your best units in the end. But I thought it was fun. I actually did it on the airplane coming home yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Paid my $8 for my Wi-Fi on the airplane. Thank you, Southwest. In my 2.5-hour flight, I knocked this out, and so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, a little mini Dimensions End Transcendence. Although Dimensions End Transcendence only locks out 6 Sweetwater. As opposed to locking out 15 characters. Yeah, so this locks out a lot more. Mino, what are your thoughts on Equinox? Anything challenging or anything interesting about this event? A little different than the last Equinox.
Yeah, we went over this briefly in our unofficial stream last week when Mark was on vacation. I think I was joined by, I forget who already. I know this.
Blart
Nidre. There you go.
Yeah.
And maybe Necklord, I think. And I think consensus all around was that this was probably one of the best events ever, because you could completely destroy this with a Garnet friend, which many people complained about. But if you did not, these orbs were very, very challenging. They forced you to engage with the boss in ways you never had to before. Like literally, they made you respect mechanics because for example, the snakes, right?
Yeah.
If you have too many debuffs on them, they usually go haywire. So when they originally released, the challenge was to not exceed 3 debuffs.
Right.
But this time the orb was to have 4 debuffs on them.
Yeah.
So, it forced you to face them at their hardest. Or like the Krakens, right? The Krakens never had an orb. This one was, imperil and hit with holy weakness. But they have phases where they become debuff immune. And you have to let them take their turn before you could debuff them again.
Yeah.
So like all the fights made you really respect. See, because before it was always like shut them out, don't let them do their thing. Now it really is force them to do their thing and play around it. I thought it was amazing. For the people who like challenges, this is a very, very challenging event. If you don't like challenges, that's okay. Bring your Garnet friend and stomp all over it. Like I think people could literally bring a Garnet friend, BT plus, BT phase, and these things were almost dead. Then you just like summon, and then they're dead. But right, the only perfect event in my opinion. You can choose the easy way out. You can choose the hard way out. The option is there. The biggest thing is that we're gonna keep hearing, and because we heard so many people say this was their least favorite anniversary event. Mark, you've been in a bubble. You can tell us your thoughts, but this was, a lot of people said this was their least favorite because it was the easiest. Because it was the easiest. Because it allowed a friend unit, and because you could bring Garnet friend and just shit all over it.
I did see, as I was scrolling quickly through the threads earlier today, I did see a lot of Garnet friends. So I assumed that did make it a little easier. But I can definitely see that. So
right, so like the big complaint and this is just address this moving forward, is just that people are now using a lot of Garnet and complaining about the difficulty. Once we get to Edgar's fight, people have already putting up Garnet solos of that fight,
Oh yeah.
and it's just like, and they're saying like, this is boring. I don't know, man. At some point, you have to ask yourself, do you want to have fun or do you want to use Garnet? And
Right.
I don't know. But again, take her out of the equation. This was such a challenging event. I
Yeah.
really, really believe that. I remember I think there was a lot of tough guys. I said, do this without a Garnet friend, or no, do it without a friend unit or synergy. That's
Yeah.
it. And or no, actually people said even with synergy it's tough. Do it without Garnet, period.
Yeah, I
And
used
like,
I used Garnet on the 250, but I didn't use friend Garnet on any of the other ones, and I felt they were much harder. Yeah,
they were very tough, right? Yeah, they were tough.
yeah,
Like many times I was like, do I want to hit the Echo button for one of these? Just like revive past the orb.
yeah,
But yeah, no, they were legitimately challenging, and I really hope to see more of this for endgame veteran content. Overall, I want to ask Mark now. Overall, we said the the anniversary was probably the best yet.
yeah,
We really veterans and hardcore players really felt listened to. These events really, really catered to that, and they allowed easier ways out if you wanted. Like if you used Garnet throughout any of these events, you could probably get away with a lot. I know a lot of people did that in Abyss as well, but if you wanted the challenge, it was there. And it's challenging because you only remove one character and it's challenging. We were talking about how we don't have TCC challenges anymore because what are you going to do? Ban like 70% of the cast?
right. Yeah,
Like our policy was always like to show how challenging the fights were if you took away a handful of characters. And this time it really was just take away Garnet. And these
yeah,
are very, very difficult fights. But now, Mark, what did you think? What was your favorite anniversary event and your least favorite one?
yeah. No, I really enjoyed the anniversary in all. I mean, I thought the anniversary was a big success. Obviously, Garnet's a favorite character of mine, so that was exciting that she got a BT, and of course it's broken. That's great. The early, moving around the campaign characters, fine. I no problem there. But yeah, the events, I thought all of them were a lot of fun. I think this was probably my favorite. I really like the Equinox. I like the hard lockouts, the simple lockouts. So you're not, not using, like, I don't mind the other two, but I think this just locking out characters straight and easy makes most sense. Having this kind of pyramid difficulty, I thought was great. The different orbs, like you said, the mechanics, needing to respect the mechanics, taking old fights and changing them up a little bit, making them a little bit more challenging. I thought that was awesome. And so this is probably my favorite of the events. I really did like Crevasse, though. And as somebody who got max score at Crevasse, I thought that was, a great roster check. I enjoyed the Abyss, although I mean that's my least favorite, just because it's got a lot of filler, and so you kind of do some of the same stuff over and over again. But it didn't seem too bad, compared to maybe a couple of the other previous Abysses. I thought this Abyss was pretty solid. So I mean, I think all three events are solid. All three events are a win for me. But I would say in order of my favorite, Equinox, Crevasse, and Abyss. But I enjoyed all three of them. How about you?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, Equinox number one. Perfectly balanced. Crevasse is I like the roster check. And
Yeah.
and then Abyss, I was just saying like in general, I'm not a big fan of Abyss, but I also don't think I'm the target audience for it. Like I was like, that one, the other events, the newer players could join an anniversary and do like, because Equinox had a normal mode, and
Yeah.
for Vass, you could kind of get a good amount of points with a weaker roster. There were easier fights in there, right? There was like a 150 and a 100 in there,
Yeah.
right? But like Abyss, sure, there was a co-op, but to even enjoy the content, you had to go through 5 other floors.
Right.
Uh, and and like I said, maybe the we weren't the target audience, but having the substrata be chaos fights felt very
Yeah,
jarring.
exactly. Yeah, I
Very
mean,
jarring.
I think that's the filler that I was talking about. You know,
Yeah.
the substratas. You know, again, and it's whatever, but you're spending a lot of time to set up for a fight that doesn't need a lot of setup. Like it's just like have more challenging, and that's why I like the crevasse because that allowed you to, you know, unlike some of the criticism, which was, you know, Squex is making us do their job. That's not really how I felt about it. I felt like it was allowing us to cater the game in a way that we felt, and allowing us to make the challenge as challenging as we wanted to. As opposed to, you know, Abyss is kind of forcing you to use what they want you to use, which is often tied to pulling, which is whatever. But I didn't really think about the idea that, yeah, Abyss is kind of staggered content or locked content. So you have to, you know, you have to beat, you know, consecutive floors. So it's not very accessible to anybody who hasn't gone through it all. And yeah, going through it all is a slog. Going through one of it's pretty sloggy, but having to go through all of it, oh, can't imagine. But all in all, I think a great anniversary. Definitely like more crevasse. Definitely like more Equinox. And we'll see if it is. So, well, yeah, that's a part of our transition. I really wanted to talk about the GL first, but we do have a similar supporters corner question. And if you are a Twitch sub or a YouTube member, and you can join us on YouTube for 99 cents or Twitch on whatever sub costs for you, you get exclusive access to some channels on our Discord and some exclusive content here and there. But this also allows you access to our supporters corner, where our TCC intern, Poto Cedar, asks a question. And his question this week was the same question we just answered. Out of the GL exclusive events, what is your favorite and what makes it better than the others? K9 Word says, this crevasse event checks our rosters, not too restrictive for rewards. Tree Void says, I think crevasse is my favorite. A lot less filler compared to Abyss, more fights, more codes, made team building more interesting compared to Equinox. Shadowheart, who's with us live, says, I thought Equinox events were a nice implementation to break up the monotony. Worried Trad Frog says, Equinox more mechanically restrictive than Crevasse. C-Sam says, Crevasse, if Crevasse was not garbage time difficulty, it would have been my favorite. By judging by what we actually experienced, my favorite has to be the previous Equinox. Blartanian, check out Blart Defo. Says Belthier's Abyss, because he's an asshole. Very well designed codes that rewarded me for pulling Belthier and punished everyone. Well, everyone else. And you should have pulled for Belthier because he is the leading man. I miss Scarnet BT cycle already. That is Indolent Lar. Says, I'll go for Equinox. Memorable to me. The first one, or second Equinox. Is this our third Equinox or second?
Third.
Yeah, third. This is the third. Yeah. So Nidre said, I like Crevasse the best. Final ASIM, I love the first Equinox event. This is Goose says, Crevasse was solid, but I think it's too hard to beat. I think it's hard to beat the first Equinox. Red Cane says, this event is the most fun we've had because of the ability to customize orbs and restrictions. I assume Crevasse. A Synth says, I prefer no fluff style of Equinox. So far, hopefully the next one stays true to that. Daniel says, Blue Dagger Abyss was the best. And Artistic Asian says, I'm over the moon with Equinox. This current event kicked my butt until Trier and Error finally pulled me through. So thank you all for your input. And you can always tell us your answers in the next time coming together. The next question. Well, let's move from the GL first events to a expected event, which is Dimensions End Entropy, or Transcendence, excuse me. Dimensions End Transcendence, Tier 7. We on Tier 7? Yeah, Tier 7. We got a whole bunch of characters. including Tifa, Furion, Xande, and Locke. So let's start with the easy one. Tifa. Tifa's got C90. She does more damage. Mino, anything else to say about Tifa? So good. Are you there with?
Sorry, I don't think you caught that. No, I don't. I have nothing
Yeah.
to say.
Excellent. Furion. Furion got a BT plus. Oh, he got his C90. He does extra damage too. His BT plus gives him 2 more turns of his BT effect, more Brave gains, kind of Y'shtola era Brave gains 50% and HP damage up. So if you like the Brave gains, Furion BT plus, he's in there. But that's pretty much it. So Mino, anything about Furion?
I kind of still like his kit a lot.
Yeah.
The traps that heal and battery and trigger. Is it? No, it's a regular trap, right? It triggers right after the enemy acts. Right.
Yeah, no,
But I
regular
know,
trap.
yeah. It's a very, very good one.
No, it's a great trap.
The buffs are good. The battering is good. The healing is good. It feels really nice. I mean, of course, it's a limited resource. I didn't green it, but I know people who are excited to, and I don't think it's a bad choice at all.
No, I mean, especially if you are big on Brave gain teams and maybe you didn't get Y'shtola, but after all, I mean, yeah, he's really nice utility, and he does a lot. Battery healing, and yeah, that drain weapon debuff is still exceptionally good, and the way it hits in afterwards, very, very powerful. Xande. Xande still sucks. Mino, anything about Xande you want to add?
Yeah, this was fucking horrible. I don't know what you were thinking.
It's so bad. He got
like nothing. I like what is it? I think his EX is still
3.
Was it? Yeah, like
3
they didn't
dumps.
change the number of dumps
No,
at all.
3
I think
dumps.
Splash went up in potency, but holy
it's
shit.
It's only 20% splash. It's
I don't know.
Bad.
He was completely forgotten. I mean,
it's so bad.
If we ever wanted proof that they don't give a shit about every character, I don't blame them. You can't really balance 160 characters, just run out of ideas. But Xande really feels like the problem that you didn't get to because you ran out of time on your test. I don't know what.
Yeah,
like
Xande
untouched.
Xande was bad initially, and
I would always say that.
Well, he just took so long to build up. The blue pill takes a little while to kick in, I guess. And so even his event, right? It was he had to have so many waves just to make sure he'd get to 5 stacks because it took that long. Yeah, and he's not good. It's bad. It's real bad.
What was next time? The theory that I was already telling BC and Nidre is this is pure conjecture, but a lot of characters get the shaft because they get a BT coming up next time. Like we see that with there's a good amount, like Renoa got treated like garbage for a long time because they probably knew she was going to be OP as shit on the BT. We talked about how Kane's LD kit, it was feasible, but it wasn't like it was a mind-boggling rework, right? Because it's like, oh, so I guess you don't want Kane on the field at all as much as possible, right? You don't want to press his skills. Like, I guess they gave him an LD just to have him fuck off, but when his BT came, his full kit became more fleshed out and it made a lot more sense. Or like who was another garbage ass character? Sayador, right? Like like a lot of these characters are really, really terrible because they're gonna get something later. So maybe there's hope for Xande. That's just pure copium.
Black Cloud Strife, who is Black Nero on YouTube, and you can check out Black Nero on YouTube in the Ranting Hour every Wednesday night, says counterpoint Tifa. Tifa, who has been good and continues to be good.
To quote BC back to himself, that is the exception that proves the rule, because that is the only one. And I'm sure he couldn't name another example.
Poor Theodore doesn't get better. Yeah,
I didn't say they got better. BC, I didn't say they got better. I said they got BTs. That's what I fucking said.
Yeah. Zonde F. Who's going to be Zonde's FR partner? I think that's the real question. I don't know that there's much hope for Zonde, but we'll see. So
I'm gonna push back and say I used him a decent amount on his release.
I used him on Crevasse.
I thought he was decent.
I used
I'm
him
not
on
saying he was
Equinox
great,
too.
but I would not say he was terrible on release. He got a bad rap. His AoE was good at the time. The problem here is he's releasing next to a lot of people who do his job better, right? Like Strago and Edgar are way better at AoE than he is. It's very, very sad.
Yeah, so BC is throwing out other examples.
I almost want to say I could dig for the receipts and say that a lot of people said Zach was pretty underwhelming on LD release. No, you know what? I'll claim that. I remember the community. Like I guarantee you can look at all the Zach SYPs and say wait for the BT because the LD isn't that great. I'm positive Mark remembers that as well.
Oh yeah, no. Both that was conversation for both Zach and Cloud. I think we felt that was incorrect. I think both of them were very strong with LD only. But yeah, a lot of people were saying, oh, they're not as good. Wait for BT, all that kind of stuff.
I'm not going to say that's true because people have been doing amazing things with Zach, but the community perception was that they were not impressed with Zach LD. BC says the community is full of stupid people. That doesn't mean anything. Okay. Well, moving on. Oh no, but Emerald Bard says you call Kane garbage. I call him a magnet with the right setup. I didn't say he was garbage. I'm saying his kit doesn't quite seem to make sense. Kind of like
right.
I doesn't quite seem to make sense because it feels like it's missing pieces because it is.
Yeah.
They they designed it, and it's like when a GL first releases early and they're missing a key weapon.
Yeah.
Right. Like Beatrix without her EX plus, but yeah, I mean they were still busted. Core without FR, they're still busted, but it feels like there could be something to make it work better. And later we do get that thing.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the character that is not bad. Yeah, Sunday isn't missing anything. He just doesn't.
He's missing. BC, he's missing the piece that lets him do damage. That's what it is. He's missing that BT effect that lets him triple cast his spells. Right?
Yeah, something. Yeah, he's missing something.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk to the next. Let's talk about the next character who is terribly bugged in GL apparently, and that is Final Fantasy VI's Locke, who comes back to us with a LD. BT plus C90, all the works. So if you're not familiar with Locke, it doesn't matter because you probably never used him before, but now he's good. So he gets a big fat LD that does a whole bunch of stuff, and if you got all of his things together with his C85 plus his LD plus his EX, all that crap, basically he can do big fat damage. Let's just talk. That's LD only Locke, right? So if he's got his Genji gloves and he's got his Master Scroll, there you go. The two special buffs that unlocks a very powerful, potent HP attack. It's actually Master Scroll times Genji gloves, and that does a big fat bunch of damage. And his LD does a big fat bunch of damage. His EX does a big fat bunch of damage. And that's what you do. But if that wasn't enough, so I mean, if that was it, he was just a big damage dealer. He would just do the big damage. With his BT and BT plus, he becomes super utility guy because his BT effect, besides being 10 freaking turns, allows the entire party to ignore defense with their brave hits. Prevents the party from being broken. Allows the party to be healed after they take an HP attack and they are below 50% of their max health. And also does brave damage limit up, overflow, etc. So, Locke is our first big BT plus damage dealer who's also kind of party support, I guess. And he also heals because he did that before. But he's kind of broken. He is not hard to play, but people have been speculating now for like a month about how to play Locke, and it seems really, really simple. I have him. I don't have his BT plus. Just using his LD only. It's pretty simple. You start with Master Scroll, and you just try to get Genji gloves, and there's like 6 ways to do it. So there's 3, but you can use Sneak Slash and try to get it. You can use his AA and try to get it, or you can use his LD and get it. And then you have it, and then you use his HP attack. It's not very difficult. You don't need a spreadsheet. You don't need a flow chart. You just press the buttons and make sure you got the thing, and you don't even have to look because it unlocks that special HP attack. And if you don't have that HP attack unlocked, then you just press the buttons until it unlocks, and then you unlock it. So, but if you have his BT, then he's just stupid damage. You can speculate on his BT phase, but who cares? Bring him with Garnet and anybody else, and then you win. Ico, Garnet, and Locke, and you win. That's just bring some freaking who doesn't even matter. You just win forever. He's got more than one. Hey, Moobot just subscribed. Thank you, Worry Chad, for that gifted sub to Moobot. Moobot, very proud supporter of the Crystal Chronicles podcast. Locke's fun. Like he's got more buttons to press than Null and Machina, and he does big damage, and so that's fun. He has multiple buttons that do big damage, so that's fun. I don't know. He does a lot. Oh, he's got an overhead buff too, because of course he does. I forgot about that. I forgot about his overhead buff, which does all kinds of stupid things. So he's really good. And if you don't have a big damage dealer, which is kind of a dime a dozen these days, you could get him. And if you want to make sure you don't die, you can get him. If you suck at the game, you get him, pick him up. He's going to help. But he's kind of fun, There's a little RNG in there. That's cool. People complain about, I didn't get it. People don't know how to play. That's fun. Watch. It's fun to watch people mess up in co-op how to play Locke. That's a lot of fun. Mino, what's your opinion of Locke?
I think it's really hard to gauge damage dealers nowadays because I think BC and I were talking, and he said like you have to compare them with like maxed investment versus max investment. So
Yeah,
I can't
that's
even
true.
picture how much of a difference the ultimate weapons have if you invest in them. Ultimate weapons plus blue armor, because realistically, we're not all getting a lot of ultimate weapons and blue armors, so I
Right.
can't really see how that, because I have a 3/5 spear now, so all my spear damage dealers look really good, and I think they're really good. Then when I test them without it, difference is huge, right? Like, holy crap. And so I can't, like, I expected, I think I overhyped, I think I expected Locke to blow Machina and Null out of the water, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. No.
And I think he does get ahead a little edgewise, but he doesn't completely power creep them, I guess. I don't know why I expected him to. That's probably my fault. That being said, I think he's the best DPS investment for the next like month and a half, easily, because he's a BT plus unit, more than the LDs, and we're getting a lot of more utility-based BT characters
Right.
in the next 3 cycles. I think he is solid pick for a DPS choice for the next month and a half. Very, very solid. The thing is, I'm just wondering now that if we're talking very, very meta, with the existence of Garnet, can Machina edge him out now because with a Garnet boost? So like Locke by himself
That's a
he
good
needs
point.
way less support he needs way less support than Machina.
Right.
He needs way less support than Machina because he has defense ignore, he has a lot of other abilities and utility, and of course, in a world without Garnet, he could also provide heals and auras and everything, right?
Yeah.
Machina doesn't have that, so he was. But if we're talking about a post GL anniversary and it's assumed that everyone pulled Garnet and Machina is gonna cap and have that plus 40% HP cap and be able to hit like 10 to 11 burst plus HP attacks in a row, is he gonna edge out in pure damage? I'm not sure now. That's something I would have to test. I didn't have
I
the interest of doing this yet. Oh, go ahead.
I don't have Locke's BT Plus, and I haven't watched enough videos to really plan it out. But I would say, obviously Locke can do a single Locke attack, should be able to do more than a single Machina attack, just because Locke has access to ultimate weapons, Machina does not.
Yes.
But
That's a bigger investment. Yeah.
Machina's BT plus phase or BT phase is still consecutive now 2.5 million damage attacks, as opposed to I can't imagine Locke's BT plus or BT phase would be able to beat out Machina's BT phase with Garnet in the mix.
And then like chat saying Hanchu says Locke enables others too, in contrast to Machina. But I agree with Soraya here saying, but do you really need others though?
Right.
Like so we're not talking about this fence sitting shit everyone is usable. We're saying at the top level, all possibilities unlocked. If you were going all out with a Garnet support and maximizing team building, would Machina bring more damage to the table than Locke? Of course, Locke, as Mark said, has access to ultimate weapons, can have a higher damage ceiling, but it is not consecutive like Machina.
Yeah,
and if you some setup, it's not guaranteed.
If you have the ultimate weapon on Garnet and she's adding to Machina's burst phase, with that much damage, are any bosses in the immediate future even going to be a problem? Like Machina's doing so much burst phase damage. There's hardly any setup. It's not challenging. There's no RNG. You're not going to have to reset. And there's no in-between turns. There's no down turns for Machina. Every turn is super high potential damage. So I mean,
he has what 16 of those HP pluses,
and I mean that's always been my. I mean that's why that's why I always hedged my bets in my my tier list videos on Machina, because I thought Machina was the best investment of all three of them, even if arguably Locke is better because he does more and he supports the party more. And Machina is going to be a better investment moving into FR era, but in the early FR era.
Right. So I just wanted to bring this back to like I said a while ago that entering this era of garbage time, a lot of people are going to cap on their own, no problem. What that means is your viability as a damage dealer is almost directly tied to the amount of dumps your attacks have.
Yeah.
With the existence of Garnet, who not only lets everyone cap, but raises their HP damage cap by 40%, that increases the value of each dump. So at the end of the day, like we said, like Locke would have enabled more people to do more things, but if it's just purely picking one unit out to pump out damage, Machina might win now in a world with Garnet. So it's interesting to think about and reevaluate some of the meta we have going forward, because Garnet enables some people more than others. That's just a fact. Number of dumps and how many turns you can take consecutively to not give the enemy any turns. So, but that being said, I'm saying Locke is still the strongest DPS you could probably pull now for the immediate future. That is something to consider. I'm just saying, I'm gonna throw the hot take out there and really say that Garnet shifted the power balance a little more in favor of Machina over over Locke now. Because when I was playing with Locke, and granted, I don't have a 3-5-4-5 ultimate weapon dagger.
Right.
His damage is good, but it wasn't as consistent as I would like, right? Like, yes, the LD always guarantees that big HP, but there's a bit of setup in between that, right? Like, you do have to throw some turns to the EX, which does pretty good damage. You have to bank on your S1 or your AA grabbing the Genji gloves, because if it doesn't, it means another turn of S1 or AA. So there is like some slowdown, some downtime to his damage. And the whole time I was thinking I could bring Machina and not have to deal with this, which I did try, and it did feel a lot better.
Well, right. If you're actually doing, I mean, removing the investment of an ultimate weapon on Locke, and you're just doing damage per turn, probably given the kind of fights we're about to experience or are experiencing, Machina is probably going to do more damage per turn consistently than Locke if you're bringing Garnet, right? If you're bringing Garnet. A couple of comments. Our friend Jin Lee on the YouTube and Fireside Chat says, depends on who you're giving advice to. Locke gives you more wiggle room to survive outside of ICO and allows for worse team building. It's fair. BC says, remember Machina gives HP cap 2 to the party. So Machina continues to bump the HP cap. Locke does not do that. So Machina and Garnet really do pair well together. If you really just want to destroy things and do like 26 million damage burst phases here in this era, that's not going to be an issue moving forward. But yeah, again, I think it's at this point, I think it's a personal preference. Who is the character that you're interested in most? You know, who's the character whose play style you like most? But yeah, if you're just talking blow for blow, I still think Machina is the way to go. But like you said, there are plenty of LD only damage dealers that are going to be doing 1 million damage, including one we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So yeah. Locke is super good. So don't anybody come away from this saying Locke sucks or TCC says Locke's not good. But I do think we do need to consider in terms of who is the best. It may not be Locke 100%. But that's a little bit speculation. In a vacuum, which doesn't always exist, right? Hey, there is a TCC podcast poll. Again, check out TonberryTroupe.com if you want to look at the Locke infographic. Beautiful Locke infographic. And if we go to Materia Bot and Quetzalma and J.A helping out with that, on the 10 servers that this is on, 9 people pitying Locke's BT straight out of the gate. Like me, good job. 11 or 22 doing the LD, 12 gems, 76 tickets, and 43 skipping. More people skipping Locke than Ico. That's amazing.
Really quick, Blard brought up as he subbed that Locke is worse because he was part of that terrible, terrible story chapter, and Machina was part of one of the story chapters people claim is the best in Defo. I just want to put that out there in the Machina versus Locke war. But
Machina is great, and I've always liked. I enjoy especially his costume and that special weapon skin, the sword weapon skin.
Machina has a better costume too. Yeah,
because if you put Machina's costume and his weapon skin on, he looks like a character not from Type 0. So that's why I do that, so I can pretend he's some other character from a different game. That's cool. I got nothing against Type 0. I just never played it. Hey, there was an event. It's Dimensions and Transcendence. If you're not familiar, you have two little gates. They are locked to one color. You got to bring one color, and you got to bring 3 on one side and 3 on the other side, and then you use 3 of those characters in the center, and that's how Transcendence works. If you haven't played before, you're probably not starting with Transcendence 7, but maybe you are. Who knows? Because you pulled Locke and Aiko, and why not? The left side was a blue crystal. Of course, Locke is the one they want you to bring there, and it's a couple of these lizards, and its target takes HP damage at least 4 times. So basically, an HP attack that does 4 dumps, or an attack that does 4 HP dumps. So half the cast does that now. And then red, of course, and that's Furion, is red crystal. And count target takes attack triggered by an effect decrease, which is the debuff that Furion has. Or, ironically, Garnet also fits in there nicely with her effect decrease. And then the center one was these necromancer guys, the lunatic murder weapons, kind of like MODOK there, kind of got this theme going on. Lunatic murder weapon, necromancer type. Player ability, I actually liked this orb a lot. Player ability restores at least 20% of max HP. That's how you tick them up. Or giving them turns tick them up. But every time you took a turn, they tick down their orb by 2. And so I thought it was a pretty good orb because it kind of forced you to either give them turns or to constantly heal, which is pretty easy because we have all kinds of characters that heal constantly, including Aiko, including Furion, including Garnet. But to make sure that you're not spamming consecutive turns because you'll pop the orb. Yeah, is this a lethal orb, though? I didn't even check.
Shit, I didn't check. Is it?
Oh yeah, no, it does. It is a lethal orb. Yeah,
Okay.
it is a lethal orb. I don't ever let the orbs go off, so I don't have any idea.
Right, same. No, I did that Edward fight trying not to let the orb go off. Then I found out it only does like 4,000 damage to each person. So
Yeah, Vanille can solo. Right. I brought Vanille as well. There as well. So. But no, I thought it was a pretty interesting. I don't think, of course, with the number of crazy characters, I still haven't used Machina. I still haven't used Y'shtola. I have quite a few greens that I haven't used. I brought Furion and Garnet here. I didn't, like, why the hell not bring Garnet? And I was running out of time, so I just wanted to play the fight once. I might go back and do it a little bit different later, so I can use her in the future, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But, yeah, interesting fight. I like the fact that Transcendence gives us new enemies to fight. So, there you go. What are your thoughts on Transcendence? I'm sorry, I was reading chat there.
they're trying a lot of different things now. You know, agreeing with people in chat, the orbs are kind of creative.
Yeah.
The fight concepts were kind of creative. It's just, it didn't pack a punch. That's going to be the theme going forward. I talked about a lot of these characters too. We'll definitely talk about when we get to Edgar, but it's just like, I like what they're doing conceptually. It's just that many players, we've established this before. I say this all the time since year one. Like, it's human nature to usually pick the path of least resistance. It's very natural to always pick the path of least resistance, and for that means not engaging in these fights at all. Like, it's very cool that they're trying these things, but all I can say is, like, A for effort.
Yeah.
But A for effort, I appreciate trying new things, but it's people are not going to engage with this. It's too easy to skip through. Like, you could spend all your time developing a clever fight, but if all they have to do is very easy to just bypass all of it. Saw a lot of solos. Furion can very reliably solo the right side. Locke can solo the left side.
Sure.
I've seen Reckoning duos. I've seen plenty of non-BT clears of the entire thing. Like Blart said, maybe they tried to undertune it because there were such, they were bouncing around. There's like an HP poison mechanic. Yep. There's a lot of things going on, but they erred on the side of caution. A for effort.
Yeah. It is what it is. And if you are struggling, you can always come on our Discord and come to our GL help section. We have a thread for each one, and you can find some help for what you are looking for. But yeah, you don't have to solo, or I don't even know why you would like just besides just do something for fun. Like you don't need to save characters at this point for Transcendence. It comes so rarely, like once every other month now. Like we got plenty of characters. Like I said, I've got several greens I haven't used at this point. um, yeah, no, yeah, Jin Lee is saying, although interesting, I'd say solo duos are not exactly more efficient if you're having to bring multiple greens. Right, exactly. Um, you don't necessarily need 2-3 green characters to beat this content. It's not that difficult. But yeah, there's a lot of characters on the horizon, so take it step by step, and the rewards are really good, so I'll take it. And I had a whole bunch of content to catch up on, so I'm not afraid to burn through things if I have to. Oh, that's the wrong button. What's next on the agenda? We have another event, and it's Edgar's Intersecting Wills. Interesting caveat here, going into the Intersecting Wills. I know you don't read the story. Did you read this story?
I read it this time because Nidre was hyping it up. I was actually gonna say that the only reason I stopped to read this was because Nidre was very excited about it. So I decided to check it out. It's very good.
Yeah, I actually liked this story. Spoilers, if you're into the spoiler section of this, like just don't listen for 5 minutes as we talk about the story of Defo. Spoiler heavy. I thought it was interesting. I mean, obviously the intersecting wills don't like advance the plot, quote unquote, but like no one's playing Defo for the plot. We just like interactions. And so I thought it was interesting that you had the two emotionally challenged characters, Lude and Shoki, the two emotionally challenged, let's call them. One kind of robotic and one, I don't remember what Lude's whole thing was. They lost their souls or something stupid, right? Interacting with perhaps one of the more emotionally complex characters in Final Fantasy. And so I thought it was good. I did enjoy that quite a bit. So, yeah, I like Edgar. As much as I'm not a huge Final Fantasy VI fan, I do think several of the Final Fantasy VI characters are fairly deep in terms of their identities and who they are, and Edgar's certainly one of those characters who is emotionally complex, and I thought they did a nice job with that. So read the story every once in a while, not always, but in this case, I thought this story was pretty good. But we did get a couple characters, and they are Final Fantasy VI characters. The first is Strago. Strago gets more dumps, and that's all he needed. So, yeah, Strago C90. You equip an ultimate weapon on him, and he's doing... Why? Hey, is BC still here? Why isn't Strago in the Millionaires Club? My Strago's doing over 1 million damage. Why isn't Strago in the Millionaires Club? That's why you don't say things on the internet, PC. It always comes back to you. Strago does more damage. Great. He's great. And if you like damage, he does full AoE damage, magic damage. You should get him. He's great. TonberryTroupe.com has the infographic. It's a wild infographic. I think I really like it. El Cid, shout out to El Cid, who's doing a lot of the art there for Tonberry Troupe. Wild infographic. How do you feel about this infographic art? Do you want to go on record as you hate it? Are you there, Mino?
Is my voice not coming through?
No, I think I'm having some storm here thing, so I think just some frames dropping.
Oh, okay, that's not me then, right? Yeah. I see this. Yeah, a little in and out. No comment.
Okay.
On the art, but one, I think they used this the last time Strago got one, so it's not new.
Oh, okay.
But I hate to admit it, but I liked Tonberry Troupe's post title. for this one.
Oh, what?
They do those cute little Reddit post titles when they post their
Yeah,
infographic.
what was it?
I'd have to pull it up unless you can beat me to the punch. But the uh, it's best, right? It is learn well, move well, pull well. Thomasa Magi style is with you, and it is with Strago who gets C90 rework. Read his infographic to see how his EX bombs away any spirit the enemies had left. I thought that was.
It's pretty good.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I usually hate them, and I told Sal that, but that one wasn't too bad. So, no comment on the art, but good title.
But if you've invested all of your ultimate weapons into staffs and you're tired of using Garnet, Straggler's a good choice to throw that staff on, do some big fat damage. So, yeah, besides that, he does what he does. Big fat AoE magic damage. Just make sure you got his Soul of the Maska on, and he'll do double attacks with everything. That's all you got to do. Easy to play. Press buttons, do damage. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I just wanted to weigh in as well. We were talking about AoE damage, or I was thinking about it a lot because that's a lot of the characters we're getting. And while I don't think Strago is competitive pound for pound, I think if you run a comp based around him, like Lude plus Strago, plus some turn manipulation, if all you do is get him to spam his EX as much as possible, very, very competitive. But if you were just slotting characters in randomly, only his EX feels good right now. All of his skills have very, very much fallen behind. His LD still feels nice because it's a double rebreak.
Yep.
But, like, he can throw out some very, very competitive damage if you build around EX refreshing. I want to put that out there. Probably beating some of the AoE characters coming up that we're going to talk about. But that means very specifically building a team around him just to get that done. I think he might be able to beat out Twins for that, because Twins is, 4 LD casts, and then they're tapped out?
Yep, pretty much.
Right. And Strago could get a lot of EX casts if you build around that. Other than that, though, pressing his skills feels really bad.
That is fair. Yeah, his skill 1, skill 2, not super exciting.
Strago with Lude and Ryu Cloud asks. Obviously, the third is always Garnet, but probably anybody.
Garnet, Selfie, Alphmob, Sid Reigns.
How many HP dumps? I believe his EX is. How many dumps is that? It's a lot.
I just closed the tab, so I'll pull.
Okay, I got it. Hold on. We'll pull it up, guys. How many dumps does he have on his EX?
8.
It is 8.
8, yeah.
8, right. So 8 with blue armor is 1 million.
Oh, no, it is 1 million. I don't have his blue armor, and it's 1 million. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm saying, like, well, you're probably running buffs, right? But I'm saying by himself with blue armor, it's 1 million. Throw in Ultima Weapon, more than 1 million.
Yep.
Throw in Garnet and other HP cap buffers, very, very hard hitting. But I'm just saying, like, it is very minimal investment to get that to 1 million, for sure. And that's 100% AoE damage, too. So that's 3 million on 3 targets. Very, very good. The only problem is, once again, his shitty skills will bring that average down to normal levels. It's when you get him to keep hitting his EX over and over and over, will he really shine.
Yeah. Well, the other character on this banner is...
Sorry, In says it's not full AoE.
No, it's split. His EX is split. His LD is full.
Oh.
And skill 1 is... Yeah, skill 1 is full. Skill 2 is split. But EX is split, yeah. He's just really good, yeah. He's doing 1 million damage regardless because he's that good. The next character, the feature character, is Edgar, getting his LD and C90 for the first time. Really interesting kit. If you're not familiar with Edgar now with his LD Does all 3 damage types. He does melee, ranged, and magic. His LD is magic. His LD unlocks a special attack Bioblaster, just like the game, which is also a magic attack. Gives him a new buff, which is pretty cool. And every time he does, this debuff is new. The Royal Pressure, is that a new debuff, right?
No. He had that
before.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how he gets the upgraded versions of his skills. But now with his LD, if he does a brave attack, he now adds a debuff called Weak, which will stack different resistances down depending on what he does. So if he does a skill 1, which is ranged, he'll do ranged imperil. If he does skill 2, which is melee, or EX, which is melee, he'll do melee imperil. If he does LD or Bioblaster, which is HP plus, he'll do magic imperil. And so he can stack all 3 of those. So if you're playing him right, you can do melee, ranged, and magic imperil on one debuff called Weak. So really, really cool. I mean, I really like that mechanic. He does have some other debuffs, defense down and brave down. He does get sap, brave damage taken up with royal pressure and poison. A little bit of stuff. He does ignore defense on his plus versions of his skills. And brave does weakness brave damage on machine types. Obviously, it's not exciting, but that's what it is. But yeah, it's a very interesting mechanic for him to be able to basically imperil every weapon type. That being said, not the most needed thing in the game right now. I think it makes him a very interesting character to play. He does have a spear, so if you're a big Kane fan like Mino and myself, you can get that ultimate weapon spear a little bit more longevity out of it. Other than that, I think he's really a niche character if you want somebody interesting to play because you're kind of bored with friend Garnet time. Yeah, and it's Edgar, so a lot of people like Edgar. Mino, you have Edgar. What's your thoughts on him?
So I'm a little biased towards Edgar. Like, I like the character and I like the kit and concept. And I've really always wanted him to be good at Defo at some point. It hasn't come yet. Again, A for effort, right? Like, God, that the design is interesting. I wish it was relevant. It's interesting. I wish it was relevant. But like stacking weaknesses in a time everyone's capping anyways. I don't know. I tried to find something good. It's just so unnecessary, right? Like, it's just so sad. I've said before when we talked about Jagran that in an RPG, you need both good design and good numbers. And his design is good, but if his numbers are not good, ultimately it does not matter. Like, how he's designed is he hits weakness damage on machines, and then he can imperil his own types, and then he ignores defense as well. So functionally, his brave hits are doing so much more than the average characters. Like, it's almost a times 2.5 times 3 multiplier on all his brave hits. If brave damage did not have a cap, his would be so much higher than everyone else's. The problem is everyone's already hitting their brave cap anyways, so you're never going to notice any of this. It's a lot of extra steps to get to the same point. The best thing I can say about him is he is very decent for AoE DPS right now. I think when I took the Ultimo weapon off, his skills are hitting about each target for about like 300k. So, on 3 targets, that's pretty impressive. At 2 targets, it's like 600k. That's pretty average, pretty above a good, decent. His LD hits for about 600k a target. His EX does okay. Like, his damage is okay. If a fight ran for 100 turns, he would ultimately outdamage Strago and the twins.
Yeah, right.
If he got like 100 turns, right?
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
That's nice.
I can't. I'm like theoretically, weapon type damage weakness is very interesting because it stacks with elemental weakness.
Right.
So in theory, if you ran him alongside his brother, they would be adding an extra 50% damage multiplier to everybody. But you just don't need that. You really don't. Even if you weren't hitting weakness at all, there's so many like brave damage up and ignore defense attacks out there now. Like, it's just so unnecessary. It's just really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. But decent AoE. That's all I can say.
Well, he did come with a Lufania fight that I guess we should talk about. And you fight Guardian, Cleveland Guardians. Shout out to the Cleveland Guardians. Uh, that's a baseball team, professional baseball team. The Cleveland Guardians. This was an interesting orb. So count target has at least 3 weaknesses. Melee, ranged, and magic, +1. Count target takes brave damage that ignores defense, +1. So, course with Locke's BT+, everybody ignores defense. We also have a lot of characters that ignore defense. So that's not a huge orb to hit. But you could also bring Edgar and do the different character weaknesses, different weapon weaknesses. Or you could do like me, being the smart guy that I am, and bring Fran, Orin, and Hope. And just do 3 separate weapon imperils to tick that orb up. And that worked fine. So interesting little fight. I guess you can't knock them back. They had mechanics, I guess. I don't think it had a turn. So I'm not really sure if there were any mechanics. But I like that orb. I thought that was a fun little orb. When I read that, I'm like, what the hell is this? Because I hadn't looked at Edgar, so I didn't know what Edgar did yet. And so I'm like, oh, look it. No, I took them as calls. Come on, Jovial Roger, wherever you've been playing. No, I brought Fran was in the party. Fran was in the party. I just brought Orin and Hope calls. Do the full group there. So that was exciting. That was a lot of fun. I brought Strago. Of course, I brought Strago. Did the big damage. Hit that big damage. Mino, do you remember anything about this fight? That was interesting.
Yeah, if you give them turns, it's
Oh, is it bad?
yeah, they have some interesting attacks, but ultimately, what this showed me is that if you don't make the orbs lethal, nobody cares. A lot of the I think so. Eamon did his usual Eamon challenge for this, and it's a million restrictions, right? So like no BTs, no Ultima weapons, no friends, no synergy, no units within the last 2 months. Ban the type imperilers like Orin for some reason, and what everyone did is they just brought a tank.
Yeah.
This you can evade the orb attack.
Oh wow.
You can just tank the orb attack with a Bosch or an Orin or a Zac, or you could echo through it. Like, if you, I don't know, this is a perfect example. If you don't make the orb lethal, nobody cares. They're not gonna try at all. They're just gonna just eat the orb. Like, who cares? Like, what's the consequence?
Respect the orb.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't respect you, respect the orb. Maybe they'll pretend like they'll give us something else. Yeah, well, there you go. It's nice to have an easy one every once in a while. But if you are struggling, there's nothing wrong with that. Jump on our Discord. Let us know. Hey, let's look at that podcast poll, that final podcast poll, before we get to your questions. 0 people pitying. Yeah, across 12 servers. 0 people pitying. It's a tongue twister. Locke BT on this banner. 7 people pitying the LD. 2 people just wantingly losing gems. 52 tickets and 95 skips. Yeah, not a lot of support for Edgar. Not surprising. Oh, not surprising. Not surprising at all. Well, Mino, if you go to podcast questions, you can always come on to our Discord and ask your questions. Did you have any of these questions or any topics you wanted to discuss tonight? Okay.
I'm looking through them now. Help me out here. Let's see. Okay, I'll gamble on this Inkwelder question.
Okay.
If Squex made all enemies moving forward have threatening attacks in their normal kit, similar to the Seador debut, the worms where Vincent shined, Do you think that primary stat debuffers would immediately jump to a stronger and more relevant place in the metagame? How would the host recommend making debuffs of attack, eye brave, and brave more relevant? If
Hmm.
they aren't relevant, shouldn't these debuffs just be removed from the game? That's that's a tough call because I think the only reason I'm trying to remember why debuffs were so favored on the those centipedes. I think it's because they dispelled you, right?
Yeah, right.
So like you wanted debuffs because buffs weren't working.
Right.
Uh I remember so Ink was in chat, he was proposing things like, hey, instead of like attack down, could we get like brave damage or HP damage done down? Right. And I
Right.
think those are interesting concepts. I don't really know what to say. I don't think primary stat debuffs are completely useless. It's a niche thing, right? Like when they work really well. That's why Jin was running those Vincent teams for so long.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
mean when debuffers, you can really make debuffers work real well, right? Yeah. I don't know that it's important right now, but there was a time where you could really, obviously you can stack eye brave, you can stack M brave down, you can stack attack down, and really cripple bosses, or do some kind of crazy combos. It's never been necessary. We've talked about this a lot. It's never been necessary. It's always been something that has just kind of been a fun way to approach the game if you wanted
yeah,
to.
I feel that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Um, to get, yeah, I mean, getting rid of things. I mean, some games do that, I guess, like mechanics that are outdated. They just change it and get it out. Um, but yeah, Black Cloud says utility debuffs are more entertaining anyway. Yeah, I agree. It's always fun to have those unique and those utility debuffs doing some interesting things.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right. Ultimately, I agree with you that it's probably just a different approach. You can take another option. So I don't think there's anything super wrong with it. But I think I agree with Ink that if they wanted to just get to the point and do reduced like Brave and HP damage and stuff like that, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Blart asks why we haven't answered his questions.
What's his
Um,
question? Let's see. Oh no. Question for each of the hosts. What's your favorite thing about your co-host? Flip a coin to pick who answers first. All right, I'm gonna flip this coin.
okay.
Call it in the air, Mark. What
Yeah.
do you want?
Okay. Heads.
All right, it's heads.
Oh,
Wait. Yeah, you go first.
okay. I'll go first.
That's what I mean.
What is my favorite thing about Mino Spellgood? Well, I think he has an infectious, contagious. That infectious sounds bad. He has a
I'll go with infectious.
he has an infectious energy that I've always enjoyed. That's why I like Mino on the show. I think he brings a certain youthful vibrance to the show. I really appreciate his integrity and his honesty. He always tells it like he is. I think that's really, I mean, that's like the primary reason we elect leaders these days, because they tell it like it is. Infectious, contagious, youthful passion about this thing that doesn't particularly matter. I really appreciate that about Mino Spellgood.
My turn. All right. I think my favorite thing about Mark. I'm trying to pick one, but I don't think Mark picked one. So I'm
That's true.
trying. So I'm not sure. So if I had to pick one, huh? Because I can think of a bunch of things, Mark. I'm just not sure which one I like best. So you know what? I'll just rattle off like you did. I'll just go down the list,
Yeah.
right? Like Mark is a very resilient person, right? Like from what little I get to glimpse into his personal life, he deals with a lot of stuff, yet can always remain generous and optimistic, right? He's very resilient spirit. I think there's a lot of fake nice people out there, and I'm not saying Mark's a saint. He hides it very well, very diplomatic. That's the second thing. I'm just going to add that on there. Mark's very diplomatic, but I think that there are a lot of people who are like fake nice or fake happy out there. And I don't think I ever get that vibe from Mark. I think Mark, when he's happy, or when he's being a generous spirit. It is genuine, right? Because if he doesn't like you, he'll let you know. I've seen him tear people apart in other servers. Like, I'm sure some of you have been in other servers where he just like goes to town on people. And like, so like if Mark doesn't like you, he'll let you know. So that's why I think he's very genuine when it comes to
Yeah.
when it comes to being a nice guy.
If
All
you
right.
if you pay me money, I'll put up with you for a while though. So
Yeah. And also, um, I guess I'll throw in a third thing. I don't know how much this counts, but like he this is probably only because we're in the DeFo community that I just see so much complaining every day on a daily basis. And Mark is just not a complainer, right? Like he's my kind of guy because he'll just get done what needs to be done and not complain about it. Like things will happen in his whether it's work or the podcast or the game, whatever it is, what needs to be done gets done, right? I really love professional approaches to lifestyles like that. So I guess I named 3 to Mark's 3.
there you go.
I don't think we answered your question.
Perfect.
I could not pick a one favorite thing, but I will be returning this question on the live stream
There you go.
next week. So you better be fucking prepared to answer. And I know it's near impossible to name any one thing or anything at all that you like about Raw Life.
Yeah.
But you have to answer because we answered.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can pick 3 reasons I like Samegi. So pretty easily.
Yeah, I like So Meggy too.
Genuinely. Check out the live stream on Monday night.
Check out the live stream
Check
every
out
Monday.
Monday night.
Monday.
Samegi's great. You'll really like her. Super smart, great player. Oh,
Blart's
Lord.
saying we smudged the answer. What do you mean, Blart?
I don't-
How did we smudge the answer? I really want to know why our answers were not satisfactory. Okay, fine. We have to pick one thing. I got it. Fine. My favorite thing about Mark is that he claims to have studied postgraduate education in languages and still mispronounces a large amount of words. That is my favorite thing about Mark. Happy?
That's true. That's true. I do. I have the receipts for the postgraduate degrees. I have a lot of degrees. Can't barely speak English. I am a professional orator and writer and published.
Did you say professional?
Yeah.
Oh, you said orator. I thought you said worder.
Yeah, I'm
Like
a professional wordsmith. I am a professional wordsmith. Orator was
professional
the word.
word guy.
The orator is the word I used. I'm a professional
yes.
speaker,
Yes.
and professional writer, and still can't pronounce anything. To be fair, half the words in this game are made up, so the other half are not, and I missed those. So there you go. Professional. I am not. Wordle's not my friend, so I do not Wordle. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Okay, let's gamble on another ink question. Would the host prefer 2 weeks of nonstop unexpected content like we have now in the GL anniversary, but every 6 months? Or would the host prefer one unexpected piece of content every 2 months? Okay, so I guess that's just pacing, right? Like,
Yeah.
do we get big chunks of content every 6 months or one GL first event every other month?
I think I liked the cycle. I like the 3 consecutive unexpected events. It just really, it was nice. I mean, it was nice that you didn't know for a couple weeks what's going to happen, what are we going to have. I think if you have a one-off GL event, that's always been nice, but it's sometimes forgettable. Like, oh, we did that, and then you go on to the next thing. When you had the back-to-back-to-back, it really made you stop and think about, oh, hey, what am I doing and what's going on and what's the next content? So I think if I had my choice, yeah, I'd rather have something like this every 6 months than, a single event every other month. But I would like more events constantly. So I would like this every 6 months and then another event every other month. I do.
I like the constant events too, the
Yeah,
every other month, because that shakes up poll plans more.
that's true.
Uh, I would love the community to get slapped in the face by like a different Abyss or Equinox every other month, just so they'll start, or like Crevasse every other month, just to be like, should I pull these characters that I was originally going to skip? We talked about this a little bit in the server today, where DeFo is very unusual because it has less lockouts than other gacha games. So what that means is people want to pull one super strong unit and then coast for months and months and months. I feel like unexpected like lockout events like Crevasse and Abyss every other month means people would second guess maybe pulling Edgar. What if we get a Crevasse in a month or two from now, guys? That's just red spears.
Mm.
You know, there's exactly 3 red spears now, so
There
probably
you
the
go.
next Crevasse. There
3
you
red
go. If you
pull.
want the
You guys
perfect
better be pulling because you never know when you're gonna get 3 red spears or three orange whips or whatever it is. You're gonna need those. You're gonna need those
I think
whips.
the reason why people say they like the first Equinox so much is because it required a dispeller, and most people did not pull for one, and then there was only one available because it was such a rare roll, right? And then the reason I think people think less of this one, even though I think it's better designed, is because we have an OP friend unit. Back then, you couldn't just bring one friend unit to like stomp through all of it, right? So you had to respect it. Now you don't have to respect.
There you go. Hey,
Uh,
well, you look over some more answers. Fade into Gaming, who you can check out on the Twitch, just posted in our thing. Any pull plans for the upcoming banners? I know Mino pulls on everything.
I pull on everything.
Yeah. So it's funny because I was on vacation last week, and vacation's a great way not to pull on stuff. I did pull on the Locke banner because I'm missing Ferris, and still didn't get it, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, I pulled on that, but yeah, I didn't really pull on Edgar or Ico at all. It didn't pull besides the free pull because I was busy doing stuff. So there you go.
It's true. I think I got to my million gems because during the EX Plus era, I there was a good couple of months where I was just logging in to do dailies, and that's fine, right? We
Yeah,
talk about it
that's
all
all.
the
That's
time.
all I was doing this
I
last
I
week.
I hope that during garbage time, that's what happens, right? That a lot of things coming out of March, tons of games, TV shows, and movies. I really feel myself like getting really busy in March playing other stuff. That's why, like, we've survived garbage time before by just doing dailies. You don't have to you don't have to obsessively play this game every day. It's here to be a part-time thing. So, when I am not living in the game, and that's why I think these games give you dailies and free polls, so you log in every day and check. When you are not living in the game, you realize the game is not a big deal.
Right.
You realize that missing a couple of daily quests and missing out on 300 gems is not the end of the world. Hell, when you're at the point where you're like, fuck it, I'll miss the 100 gems a day because I'm out having so much fun. That's a win, right? Or like, oh, you get bored in the game and want to pull new characters because you're in the game so fucking much. You're like, I want something new to do in the game. When you're outside of the game, it doesn't matter. You could skip Garnet and be like, oh, whatever. Like, it's okay. I'm still logging in doing content. Who cares? So, right, Mark's, if you ever want to save gems like Mark, that's how you do it. Just get a life. Touch grass.
Touch grass.
Yeah.
Red Cane asked, how many green weapon BT books nuggets do each of you have? Well, I have up mine on screen, and I have 10 BT books and 9 BT nuggets, and there you go. And so how many is that? You could do 6. I could do 6 BT pluses if I spend them all. And if I'm looking at how many greens I have 7. Yeah. Yep. Zidane, Sorry. Zidane, Yishtola, Bartz, Jecht, Golbez, because y'all made me green Golbez. Thanks. I've been using them. Machina and Garnet. So there you go. But I've bought packs, so that's why I have so many.
So, like, how many loose resources we have?
Yeah, he asked books, BT books, and ingots. I had 10 books, 9 ingots.
I got 4 books and 3 ingots.
There you go. How many BTs do you have?
Greens?
Yeah, how many greens?
9?
Oh, okay, you have more than I do. Yeah, sure.
I mean, but I also haven't bought packs, so I'd be behind regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the count questions, but
yeah.
There you go, Red Cane. There you go.
If it makes you happy, there you go. That's what we have.
I think I saw one more good question before we call.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Final ASIM says, I keep hearing these terms like damage floor and damage ceiling.
Good.
What do they mean? How different are they from just saying high damage? Please, if you may, provide an example of characters that have high or low, either or both. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Final ASIM. Yeah. So when we talk about high damage ceilings and damage floors, it is what is the difference between the worst this character can perform and the best this character can perform. So, somebody who has a big difference in. Okay, actually, you know what? I have the perfect examples. An example. So if you take the worst player and the best player, how different will their performances be? And so Eldnarsh is someone with a very wide gap between his floor and ceiling. We've seen a lot. You can either pump out enormous damage with him if played right, or you can do garbage shit damage with him if you gave your phone to a 5-year-old or something. Whereas Garnet has an almost non-existent gap between her damage floor and damage ceiling, because you can give your phone to a chess master or a 5-year-old, and the difference in damage would probably be like less than 5% difference in performance. So when we talk about high damage floors and damage ceilings, it is how much does skill and performance factor into their output. For many characters, it is almost non-existent. Like we said, Garnet, press any button. You're going to win. It doesn't matter. I think Zeno said you could bring Garnet into a fight and hit her BT phase and just hit any random button and do a casual 9 million or something like that, probably. And whereas Eldnarsh is, if you're not getting the warps, if you're not maximizing his skills, he's losing a lot of turns, he's losing a lot of damage. I don't know, man. Like, that's the gist of it. Do you have anything to add, Mark?
Well, Yin is saying that's skill floor or skill ceiling, not damage floor or damage ceiling. Would you like to respond to that? Are you there, Mina?
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all right, help me out here. In how would you describe the difference here? Because for me, they are pretty close together, unless I'm missing something. But if you disagree, I'm genuinely curious, how would you define the difference then between damage and skill? In saying a high damage ceiling would be Sid EX because of the amount of dumps. You can optimize the shit out of that for big numbers.
Uh-huh.
And then a low floor, but the floor is low. Okay, I'll take that answer. So I guess he's saying Sid EX, or as we were saying, Machina BT HP plus. They have big floors because you can either do a lot of damage or very little damage,
right,
depending on how you built it. And then there are probably attacks out there that are going to max out regardless.
Oh, see, Sam. Much like my 11-year-old, you can't just throw D's nuts out there without a setup. So my 11-year-old just runs around saying D's nuts. I'm like, that's not funny, because kind of have to set it up. You have to fall into it. Like the damage floor, you got to fall into it, or the damage ceiling. If you're Spider-Man, you can fall up into the damage ceiling. Well, hey, that's a lot of fun. good question. Yin and Mino can argue more about that on the internet. We'll not do that today here on the Crystal Chronicles podcast, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. Looking ahead, we have the raid event featuring Dark Knight Cecil C90 and also Papa Lamo coming at us with a LD and a C90. Very exciting. Papa don't preach, but you can use your ultimate weapon staff on another character besides Vanille and Strago. Now you got Papa. So enjoy that. And then I think the Squex community stream is scheduled for the 28th. The last
21st.
Oh, no, it is the 21st. So, okay, it's going to be on the day after. So thank you for that. Yes, it will be on the day after the day after the event. So looking forward to updates about the next month, which should include our good friend Gilgamesh and also Theodore. So hopefully they'll mix something up. If not, it's going to be a big old crap fest of characters I don't
I'm
really
having
care
about. I'm entertaining myself by you know what? Never mind. I was gonna say I'm entertaining myself by pulling and playing with the new toy every week, but that's probably not good advice, and people probably shouldn't imitate that.
But yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun things to talk about. Probably not a lot of surprises, as usually the stream after anniversary does not have a lot of surprises, and that's okay. But hey, you never know. So let's hold on to hope. Maybe we're going to get that Squall Cloud BT Plus C90. That's what I'm looking forward to. And Leela is there too. So Pirate Chicks for the win. Hey, this has been episode 187 of the Crystal Chronicles, recorded February 17, 2022. We'll be back with you next week to talk about all your DissidiaFFOO news and talk. Until then, it's been Mark and Mino. Happy to be with you here live on Twitch and YouTube. Thank you if you're listening on your favorite podcast app. We are a podcast, and so that's how you can do that. Until next time, friends, good luck on all your pulls or all your skips, all your bashing through Garnet time with Garnet, and we'll see you later. Goodbye. All right. Let's transition to the post show.
Okie dokie.
We are in the post show. Welcome to the post show. Thank you all for joining us. I know Blart's on. I don't know if Raw Life is still on. You guys, because Mino's going to skedaddle here, I think, pretty soon. And who is Titus? Titus. It doesn't say Titus. That's funny. Thank you, Poto Cedar. Titus, one of the books of the New Testament. One of the books of the New Testament. Titus is a epistle of Paul to Titus. Great little book. Pretty short. Quick read. Yeah, so enjoy that. Yes, no, that would be Titus with a D and an I, even though it's E. Titus. That is your answer to the post show. Yeah. Thank you. We may not hang out too much unless somebody else jumps on and wants to talk about random things. Mino, anything else you want to jump on before you leave for the day?
No, I think we covered a good amount of stuff. Kind of worried we're not going to have this many events backlogged to talk about in the future. You laugh, but luckily you wanted to cover some of the older stuff like Aiko, etc. Equinox and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's 2 weeks of content, but it's sometimes I'm like, damn, some weeks have 1 to 2 events, period.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be might be rough. Might be rough. It might be some short shows. We're going to have to find some ways to entertain ourselves. on the Crystal Chronicles podcast. And we probably
For
will.
things to talk about of these characters.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's really just not like I struggled with Aiko. Like, what do you say about Aiko? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. As the vast majority of your characters they do more damage now. Or they can do more damage if you bring Garnet. Oh, yay. Or yeah, I mean, Aiko's unique, but yeah, what do you say? Bring her if you don't want to die, and then you die less than you would if you didn't bring her. There you go. Win-win.
Be lucky. Asks, great show, guys. Any update on some of our former hosts? Just curious if they are still playing. I don't think Pierre and Kreese are playing anymore.
Correct.
At all.
To my knowledge, Kreese and Pierre are not playing. Aoe is still playing.
Aoe's still playing, right?
Streaming.
I think I've checked. Yeah, I think she does streams Defo once a week, but she admittedly plays much more casually now.
Yeah.
So it's a very quick run through of the event every week. Right. And then what do we have any other? We've lost a lot of people along the way, I think. Kinda. Maybe? I don't know.
You mean live with us?
Players in the community, I want to say, but some of you guys I've seen here forever. Like, I don't know, man. I can't tell if we've actually lost a lot of people or
I know. I see what you're saying.
Not that many, right? Like,
yeah, it's hard. I mean, our community has grown, so I mean, it's always hard to tell, you know. But obviously, a lot of people that started with us are no longer with us, but quite a few are. So that is. That's how it goes. Sorry.
Back to what you were saying, though, pre-show, if that change really takes a cap on your page gems, I don't know if I want to.
I just don't. So to recap, if you weren't with us earlier, in JP, at the end of this month, there's going to be a new thing put in place, I guess, where you can only hold 300,000 paid gems at any one time. So that means if you are capped on paid gems, you have 300,000, you cannot gain any more paid gems. Even if you buy gem bundles, you will only get the free gems. You will not get the paid gems. So if you get the top bundle with 17,600 gems, you'll only get 8,800 gems. And so the question we have is, why is this a thing? And what is this doing for Squex? Who is this helping or preventing? Like, how is this helping them make money? I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's always the question for me. This is a company. I mean, they may have, I'm sure Squex has a mission statement. It's probably something stupid. But at the end of the day, it's a company. Their goal is to make money. Why do you do things that prevent you from making the money? I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't know what it does. I don't get it. If anybody has some good ideas about why, besides Squex hates money, which is fair, Indolent Lard. Everybody check out Indolent Lard on YouTube. I mean, that's fair. Like, yes. Squex does seem to hate our money occasionally. But, like, yeah, what, like, to like, stop spending on our game. And it does suck because it's, you know, you use free gems first. And so, like, you can be stuck at 300 if you have a lot of gems. You can be stuck at a lot of 300,000 for a long time, which would really, like, for me, it would make me just not want to spend. Like, I wouldn't want to buy things because I'd be like, well, I'm just not getting the same kind of value that I was before, even though I rarely buy anything for gems. Like, I rarely buy things like, oh, I need gems. Like, I never buy anything to get gems. I buy things because weapon glosses, costumes, Moogle Pass, you know, books, ingots, that kind of stuff. VL says I can't even save up to 300K. Yeah, I currently have over 300,000 paid gems. So, yeah, they want to. Ryu Cloud says they want to have a reputation of avoiding pay to win, but I, I don't know that it does that. I mean, maybe it gives an illusion of that, but yeah, I just Faustus says, I'm sure a lot of the paid gems come from armor weapon bundles. Fair. I mean, that's where most of mine come from. People skip X or use tickets and just stock up on gems, more valuable bundles, instead of buying the other shitty way. Yeah, and so I think Mino and I were talking about this before the show, maybe even before we went live, that potentially it could be a way of preventing people from, like, purchasing all the sale packs, right? Yeah, you use free gems, Excalibur. You use free gems first before paid gems. We can test that on stream if you really want to, but yeah, you use
Test it.
Smino's like,
Test it.
Here's use it. Yeah, okay. I'm fairly certain. So let's go here. I'm gonna show you this horrible truth. So someone take here's my screen here. Someone take a count. So my purchase gems is 49. So if we're looking at the what do we got here? 574 950. So somebody write that down. Paid gems. It tells you on the screen. Oh, it does say right there. Thank you. Acquired includes free gems. Yes. Purchase may not. No. Yes, it says acquired gems will be used first. Oh, okay. So purchase gems are not used. Yeah, no, that's right. Free gems are used first. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Says
So
that.
that's okay. So I was right.
Yeah.
When it says free, it goes into acquire.
Yes.
Which means Mog Pass gems would go into purchase.
Yes. Mog Pass are completely purchased gems. Yes. Correct. They're not.
All right, now test it.
We don't need to test it. It just confirmed for us.
No, science is proving empirical data. You don't just take somebody's word for it. That's not science.
Okay. So somebody write the numbers down. Write the numbers down. Mino, better write the numbers down.
Somebody write the numbers down.
Somebody write the numbers down.
5, 7, 4, 9, 5, 0.
Okay. 574. That's purchased, and then acquired is 789 540. 789 540.
Someone Biscuit says, "Isn't the bonus gems you get when you buy packs considered acquired?" But it says right here on the screen, Summon Biscuits, acquired includes free gems awarded with purchase.
Correct.
That's what it says. Yeah.
Correct. Ryu Cloud took a screenshot. There you go. Okay. So we go. Let's go on to banner I haven't spent anything on. Edgar and Locke. Here we go. Let's do a multi here.
I hope you get Edgar. Or would you rather pull on the Aiko banner?
Well, I'd rather have Edgar than Aiko. Doesn't matter.
Really? Okay. All right.
Doesn't matter. Let's just see. Yeah, maybe though.
Yeah, I agree with Faustus. Yeah, exactly.
They'll give us 100 for science. Good, got a 935 CP weapon. It's great. Okay, so now we go home. This is science. Mino just wanted me to use 5,000 gems.
like you're gonna miss them. I'm doing you a favor. I'm bringing you closer under the paid gems cap.
Yes.
So you can buy things later.
So acquired gems were used. So it took 5,000 acquired gems. So my purchase gems, my paid gems were not touched. My acquired gems, which is the higher number, they were used. So if if we had a cap on paid gems or purchased gems, I would not have decreased my purchased gems, so I would still be capped. Does that make sense? So what?
The only explanation I can think of, and you already said this, is by not being able to save, it's probably telling whales to spend more. Like, hey, you can't just buy these packs. Like, you got to buy these packs and then spend them so that next time you buy it, you get your full value. But that still just doesn't make sense to me.
It just doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to fit. Like, yeah, you're not gonna. Because I mean, yeah, there's two kinds of whales that we know of. I mean, there's probably more, but there are two.
And Nidres.
Yeah, there are Daniels and Nidres. So Nidres whale, they buy everything, and they don't spend a lot. And so Nidres have a lot of gems and a lot of stuff because they buy everything. Daniels also buy everything, but don't have a lot of gems because they spend on everything. So Daniels buy and pull on everything and buy until they get it. Nidres buy everything but don't pull on everything, and so or pull on things more systematically, I guess.
Right, like everyone's saying in chat, maybe they're punishing hoarders. This system punishes hoarders. This system's saying, hey, if you're not going to spend the gems, you're going to get less and less value as time goes on.
Right.
Is this a battle worth fighting?
But it doesn't punish free to play hoarders. It just punishes the people who are spending money. Like, you don't want to punish the people spending money. Like, if you're going to punish somebody, you want to punish the like the free to play players who aren't adding anything, right? Like it doesn't help you to as Destros saying, most hoarders don't even buy. Because you can have 2 million gems and not have spent a cent on the game, right? So like that doesn't
if this game shuts down right after they release all their Final Fantasy Origins characters, I'm blaming you.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're just waiting to get Jack and friends out the door to plug their new game before they jump ship.
That's right. Everybody downloads Strangers of Paradise. There you go. I'm publishing the podcast. If you're not familiar, a podcast is a way to listen to media, usually on an app on your phone or smart device, and you can listen to it. You can actually, Amazon, if you have an Alexa, you can say, Alexa, play the Crystal Chronicles podcast. And somewhere out there among you listening, the Crystal Chronicles podcast is playing right now because you can listen to it on a podcast because it's a podcast. That's why we use the word podcast, because words mean things. Whether you pronounce them correctly or not, it's neither here nor there. They still mean things. Like the word podcast. Very specific type of thing that you are all experiencing right now that is now available on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and all your favorite podcast apps. Frog, what will the next TCC Gotcha game be? Well, that will be the Final Fantasy VII one, obviously. Or, hey, I mean, the other option is we could do a where is it here? Hold on a second. Yeah, we can always do a Wicked Wonderland podcast. I just spent a week at Disney, and so I do love my all male.
How is that game, by the way?
I haven't been playing it a ton because I've not been around. It's fun. Like it's not something I'm like investing in Ever Crisis. Thank you, Ryu Cloud. Ever Crisis.
I watched someone stream it, and they were having a lot of fun. There's a target audience out there for this shit.
Oh yeah.
For pretty boy Disney villains, and like there's like a rhythm game
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah. No,
and,
it's
like,
you can see. Yeah. There. I mean, it's a pretty like it's a visual novel kind of game, but it does have turn-based combat and also a rhythm game. So, like there is turn-based combat and RPG elements, but there's also rhythm game elements. So it's got a lot of different stuff going on for it, which is fine. And
so apparently each of these pretty boys is based on
no,
a character.
So how it works is, let's see if there's a good way to see this.
I read that even the students are based on the minions of the villains. So
yeah,
like
right.
the Queen of Hearts
Yeah.
has a bunch of like card based
Yep.
and like Cheshire Cat and stuff like that. And then like Hades has the Pain and Panic.
Yeah, so each of so each of the houses. So it's basically Hogwarts, except they're all of the houses are headed by or based around Disney villains. They're not headed by the Disney villains are not in the game, but they're all based around ideals of the Disney villains, and the Disney villains are painted to be like paragons. Like the virtue of the Queen of Hearts, the virtue of Scar, right? They're all painted to be like these virtues. Like each of them have these virtues, and so each house, and this is a magical school, right? It's literally Hogwarts, except each house is based on a Disney villain. And right, each prefect or each head of the house. Like, I mean, here's the head of the Maleficent house, so he's got the horns like Maleficent, and then the other students are kind of based around the Ursula one. Like, there's the two eel twins, and then the guy who's supposed to be Ursula. Yeah, so it's weird. And you play just some random like isekai guy who just ends up there. I don't know why. And then you have a magical cat who follows you around, does stupid stuff. But it's what it is. Yeah, it's a really weird concept. I don't. But it definitely has a target audience. So.
Ike Men Disney villains. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know Ikemen Disney.
Do you mean ramen? Ramen Disney villains?
Ramen.
Disney emblem villain houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what are Maleficent's students based on?
Let's see if we go to the
goblins or ravens. They're asking. Jovial Roger.
So we have if you go into the stories, you basically only have Queen of Hearts. You have Queen of Hearts and Scar, and now Ursula. So we haven't met most of the Maleficent characters yet. But where do you go? Lessons?
You can see them all when you create a new account, right? Because I remember you choose a starting student or something.
I'm trying to think where you actually So if I go like I know there's
probably a wiki out here.
Yeah, no, there's a thing where you can go look at all of the characters. I just can't remember where it is. There's a thing where you can actually see all the characters. I just have no idea where it is. Profile, no, items, album. Yeah, here we go. Characters. So here's the Queen of Hearts. Riddle is the house master, and he's based on Queen of Hearts. And then you have Ace, Deuce, Cater, and Trey, type 0 characters.
Riddle is like
there's Scar with his hyenas. There's Ursula with the two eels. Jafar and the bird, the parrot. This is who is this? Who is Rook? Oh, this is Snow White, the evil queen.
Wait, really? Wait, is this Snow White?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the evil queen.
This game is called what is the game called again?
Wicked Wonderland.
Kid Wonderland.
Lago, yeah. This is Hades. And Hades had the imps, right? The little demon guys.
Yeah.
But the Hades characters, again, we haven't been really introduced to them, just kind of little snippets. The huntsman would be Wicked Queen. The Hades characters are like the cyberpunk kids. They're like the techie kids, so I don't know what that's all about yet. Here's Maleficent's house. So you have the headmaster who has the Maleficent horns, and then you have a couple good-looking boys. Then you have this like boy who kind of looks like a girl. So I don't really know. I don't really know what that's going for. Like I can't really help you. One raven, two goblins. That's fair. That's fair. It could be.
Wait, Maleficent had goblins?
Lilia could be the little goblin helpers. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, in her castle.
Why do I not remember this?
Yeah,
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, the Raven. The Raven obviously is a big part of the Maleficent movie. Too, because he's got his own like character.
This could be a whole podcast. Let's switch to this game.
Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts.
You know how upset I was when I opened this game looking for a waifu to start with, and then realized they were all boys.
There's a lot of. It's a sausage fest. It's a sausage fest. There's a lot of meat, in this game. So that's okay. I experienced the live action version of this by collecting pins, because if you're not familiar, at Disney World, it's kind of different right now, because it used to be most cast members like anybody that works at Disney World, they have lanyards and they'd have pins, like buttons, like pins on their lanyards, and you could go up, like if you're a kid or an adult, because adults do this as well. If you were a kid, generally, you could go up to any cast member and trade one of your pins for one of their pins. They had to trade you. That was like a thing at Disney World, Disneyland. Well, with COVID, you're not supposed to get close to cast members. Everybody's all that kind of stuff. So they have pin outposts, and every park gets a little different how they do them. And FYI, Magic Kingdom sucks at it. All the other parks are much, much better at it than Magic Kingdom, because Magic Kingdom like doubled down on the gotcha, like Hollywood Studios. You went up to any guest service, and they had like binders of pins, and the limit's 2. You can trade 2 pins per station, but they had whole binders of them. Animal Kingdom had like big like easels with pins at their pin trading posts. Magic Kingdom had boxes, like in the stores. You could go like into a room, and they had a box that looked like what's that game show with the briefcases? Deal or No Deal. So it kind of looks like that, and it was hidden. You couldn't see anything, and you got to pick 2 numbers, and those are the pins you could trade for. But it was all like random and blind, so not cool. Anyway, so we bought a whole bunch of pins on like Amazon for the kids to do. It'd be a fun thing for the boys to do. So, so I saw this new set of Disney villain pins. They look like Mickey Mouse, but they represent each of the Disney villains. So yeah, so while we were pin trading, I collected all 16 of those for my real life gotcha addiction while I was at Disney World. Gotcha ain't fun when it's real life. Yeah, it is. It's even better. I literally gambled while we were on. There's a ride because I went down. I was with 14 people, so I had my immediate family, which is 5 people, and my parents, and then so that's 7, and then 7 of my in-laws were there as well. So the first 3 days we were at Disney, there's 14 of us there. So so we're in some different groups over those first 3 days. There's a Toy Story ride, which I hadn't ridden before, but they wanted to ride, so we did, which is like a midway arcade game. You play a whole bunch of different like arcade games, and it's 3D, and you shoot. You have like a little thing, and you shoot, and you play different games, right? Ring toss, all that, just different arcade games, like midway, like Carney games, right? So I'm like, we're in line waiting for this, and they were talking about, oh, who's going to get the best score? I'm like, well, let's put some money on this because we're in Disney World and we should gamble. So yeah, we everybody pitched in $5. We made a big pot, and I won because obviously, you don't make bets unless you're going to win.
What a hustle!
I know I won $30, because we did do first, second, and third prize. But hey, I won some money, so yeah. Real life, yeah, it is expensive. I probably spent less money at Disney World than I have on Defo, so doesn't make me feel any better. I made a lot less money at Disney than I've made playing Defo, though, so it all kind of I only made $30 at Disney, but made a lot. So yeah, no, you make your own fun. You can gamble. You can play real life gotcha, pin collecting, whatever you do. So, well, I think we're gonna call it there. Everybody, where are you guys gonna be streaming on Twitch?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna join Broadway. We're gonna play some King of Fighters to celebrate its release.
Cool. Well, everybody, check out when Broadway goes live. I don't think he is live yet, or I would rate him. But everybody, check out Broadway Saiyan. Mino's going to be playing some King of Fighters. Until then, we'll check you all next week.